Hi, it's time for another math easy solution. Trying to discuss calculating square roots by hand. I'm going to go over a method to calculate any square root, like these ones, square root 3, 72, 51.3. So these are hard to do. So it's really and that method's actually abstract. It's pretty. It's not too straightforward, but once you get it, you can get the hang of it, and it's pretty straightforward once you do. But basically, square root of this one is you can't really do in your head, or it's pretty hard. And so the first thing to do in this method, I'm not going to explain actually why we're going to do the steps we're going to do. I'm just going to explain how. In another video, I'll go over why once I find the proof for that, because I heard it's pretty intense. So basically, let's go over this one here first. But actually, I wrote these down just to illustrate the first step, because you got to write them in pairs. And what I mean by that is you write every digit in pairs. So 0, 3 decimal. I have the 0 here because everything to the left of the decimal place has to be in pairs, and to the right. So 0, 3, because it's only one digit, it has to be 2. So put a 3 there. And we also put, now we put a 0, 0 for however many decimal places we want to calculate to. And similar to the 72, 72 is already in pairs, and then we put a 0, 0, 0, 0. Now I put this last part, this 512.3, because it's 3 digits. So we have this 0, 5, we put a 0, 5. And then we put a 1, 2, and then so there's 2 pairs to the left, and then we go 0, 0, 0, 0, or however many we want to the right here. So they're all in pairs. Okay, so basically let's go over this first example, this square root 3. I'll go over these other two in later videos. Basically, if you go over this one, the first step to do after writing in pairs is to look at the first pair and basically put a number here, which is going to be the first part of the answer, is such that it's going to be the largest number once you times it by itself. That's going to be, well, less than this 0, 3, or equal to it. So for example, 1, if we had 1 here, so 1 squared is going to be 1, and that's less than 3. If it basically has to be an integer number. If we put a 2 squared is equal to 4, and this is greater than 3, so that's not going to work, so we pick this 1. So we put a 1 down right here, so that's 1. We put a 1 reference right here, and 1 times it by itself. We're just gonna get a 1 right here. Then we subtract, like it's basically like long division. So we're gonna get a 2, and now we drag this pair down. So there are those 2 0 0 2 0. 2 0 0. And now what we do is double this part right here. So we double it. So this is always part of the step. So we always double whatever number this is, and this is gonna be, well, a 2. So it's a 2, but we leave a blank space. So this is a tricky part in the method. So we put a decimal place here, and now what we do is find a number such that 2, whatever this number is, let's just go number times it by number, has to be, well, has to be less than 200, less than equal to 200. But it has to be the largest number. And in this case, well, let's say we can guess what it would be. If we put, let's say, 7 is actually the number. So if we could put a 7 in here, 27 times 7. 7 times 7 is, well, 49, so we put a 4 to carry it over, so multiplication. And then it's going to be a 14 plus 4, so 189. And as you can see from this one, if we had a 28 times 8, this is going to be, well, way too large. It's going to be 64. 8 times 2 is 16, and then 22. So this is greater than 200, so this is the right number. So 7 is the largest one we could do. Subtract this is obviously 11 right here, and then we do the exact same thing right here, put the 0 down. So we just follow this exact method, but now there's a tricky part right here. So now we multiply, well, like what I said in this one, we doubled, so we actually double, well, whatever these numbers are. So we've double always whatever these numbers are, or in this case this number here. So we just double these two numbers right here. That's going to be 17 times 2. That's what I mean by double. So multiplied by 2 is going to be 34 right here. And that's 14 carried over, so 2, 3. So 34, or what you could also do, this also works for some strange reason, I'm not sure yet. Once I go into proof it will. You could just multiply this only. So if we multiply only, this can be a 14. And then we basically 14 plus this over there. So we go 4, carry the 1, it's going to be 34. And so that works as well. So again, we put a 3, 4, and a blank space right here. And now what we do is find a number here. Yeah, another number here. So another number times it by 3, 4, and that number has to be somewhere around here. So if we look at this one, if you just look at how it's 300 and 1100 or something like that, 3 times 3 is 9, and if you just count the zeros, it's going to be like around 900. So I think it should be 3. And in fact, it is 3, so we put a 3 down right here. So 343 times 3, that's going to be, in this case, right here. We'll multiply it out to 9. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. And put a 1. 3 times 3 right here is 9 plus 10. So as you can see, this one is clearly the largest one. Because if you had a 4, it would be way larger than 1100. And then subtract these ones. Well, this is going to be a 71 right here. Or you could do subtraction, etc. by hand. You can see my video link below, or just look at it. This could be a 9, and then this is gonna be, well, this cancels to 0 because you had, yeah, because you basically cancel the 0 out right here. It's gonna be a 9, and this is gonna be, well, 7, 1, so 71. And we can keep going further and further, get another set of zeros, drag it down right here, so it could be 7100, and then multiply. Well, this is going to be a 3, 4, 6 blank, etc. Again, keep doing it and finding out what this is. Actually, if we were to keep doing it in this case, in this one right here, if you put in, actually, yeah, this is 3, 4, 6 blank, and if we were to put a number in right here, well, this is obviously, it's going to be 2 right here, because it's around, because you know 3,500 times by 2 is going to be, well, 7,000. So we just put a 2, and etc. and keep going. And if we keep going, I just skip the steps. We get something like this. We multiply to 176. And I just want to go another thing. If you were to put down to 0, 0 again, right here, and multiply by this out, so we're going to 3, 4, 6, 2 blank right here. As you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. This is as well 5 digits, and this is obviously going to, any number you put in here is going to be greater than this. So basically the amount of numbers that go into it is 0. The only one we could have that's less than it is if we put a 0, because we know 0 times 0 is going to be 0, and then we get a 7, 6, 0, 0 is the difference, and we can drag another set of 0, zeros, etc. So we have this far right here. I'm going to stop right here. So we have square root 3 is roughly equal to, well, 1.7, what is it, yeah, 7320, 320, etc. So let's look at the calculator. Yeah, and if we were to look at the calculator, we get a square root 3, 1.7320, etc. Exactly what we had right over here. Let's raise it up there. So where is it? Okay, so we have 1.7320 is the exact same thing there. And yeah, that's basically all for today. I wanted to go over it. This pretty abstract method, but it's always gonna get the exact answer. And once I've figured out the proof for it, I'll go over that in another video. And I'm also gonna go over these 2 examples in later videos. So thanks for watching, and remember, you can always download these exact notes in the Dropbox link below, and stay tuned for another Math Easy solution.